Greetings, people of the world! Matthew back with you here in Overall Autism for the continuation of Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn. It is year 2, day 2 for EDSS in the Realm Reborn, as we make our way into the first dungeon here in year 2, the Amdapor Keep, as we continue our journey to help EDSS get an enhanced lance to gain from the current trident that he is possessing. So, myself and three other warriors, three other Avengers, will begin our journey here at Amdapor Keep. This is a bit of a fun one. I have to say I really like this one because this place is similar to Tamtara Deepcroft in a way, in the sense that a lot of the crazy freaks who inhabited that place are also in here. And we have a tank here. Yeah, you'll see this a lot in the post-game dungeons, in the second story dungeons, where the tank will just grab and pull and draw attention to everything it sees and try and take it as far as it possibly can. This is something you'll be seeing a lot of in the newer dungeons that we go into. And boy, it feels like I'm falling behind. Yeah, and I've definitely got someone's attention, and how the heck am I falling behind so bad? Am I just lagging that much? Well, anyway, it looks like he's finally come to rest. But man, look at everything he acquired along the way. Yeah, it'll be hard to differentiate anything around here. This will be a bit of a challenge, that's for sure. We'll definitely have our hands full going to this place. Especially having Edie going through it the first time, this could definitely take a lot longer than it should. But, as you can see, if done right, the results can speak volumes. Yeah, we just have to make sure that, yeah, you want it to be chaos, but it's like a controlled chaos. If you have the right people and you have the right party members, you can do insane collections of all the enemies like this. It gets pretty crazy. So yeah, now this is an option where we can choose to either fight all these enemies or we can just ignore them, but it looks like the tank does want to bring at least some of them into the fray. Let's see how much he wants to bring, because at the very least we have to get rid of the 3 lunatic followers on the right side of the screen, because they're blocking they have a magical barrier that's blocking our further advancement in this place. Let's get rid of you quickly. Yeah, Dullahans are always hilarious. They're these giant suits of armor that can just move on their own. And I don't know if you can necessarily see from this vantage point. It'll be hard to do so from this vantage point. But if you'd ever look at the front of a Dullahan, it's like the front of its suit of armor has like caved in and looks really hilarious. Let's see if I can get that perspective. Yeah, there we go. Well, it's kind of blocking itself, but yeah, let's see if we can get that perspective. Yeah, the front of its suit of armor, it almost looks like it's caved in like that. So, on to our first mini-boss here in Amdapor Keep. The Lunatic Priest. And this guy, he is actually not the true first mini-boss. He actually will bring the true mini-boss, actually, up right now. And you cannot stunt him to stop the summoning from happening, but he's going to bring out the true mini-boss, which is the Psych Flare over there. You know, I was going to say Mind Flare, but it's actually the Psych Flare. And so, once you dispatch the Lunatic Priest, you can then move on to the Psych Flare. And he'll start doing summoning as well, but once you defeat the Psych Flare, then you can move on. Canker, huh? Well, it's not going to be a Canker sword, unfortunately for him. But yeah, he's going to call out a new enemy to come into the fight. And we will want to get rid of him, because he is a distraction, and he can cause some good damage. There we go, we got him. Yeah, but now he brings out the Megalith Marionette. This is the thing you really want to avoid. Megalith Marionette, I don't think you can actually damage him, but you'll do well to stay away from him because he kicks a lot of butt if he damages you. So keep your wits about you and you should be fine. And look out. Yeah, we're almost getting ourselves pinned on a corner here. Okay. Well, looks like I took a status affliction, but we have almost got this guy. And the Psych Flare is down. So that's the first mini-boss out of here. We won't need the Vermilion Skirt because I already have armor that's already way stronger than that, but that doesn't mean that I still can't acquire these items, and in so doing, get extra seals to use for my own personal use, which is exactly what I intend to do. In fact, you'll see a lot of players, because their armor is already so highly leveled, they'll intentionally pass on pieces of armor like this. But by all means, you should get them. Even if you can't use them for yourself, it's still a good idea to get them in order to exchange it for seals through your Grand Company. Because not only does it help get points accumulated for your free company, but as I mentioned before, it's a way to get seals that allow you to get more stuff that you would want that you can get through your Grand Company. Two of the best things you can get are retainer items that you can use to, if you so desire, to send them out into the field. Because there is that option. I have not yet demonstrated that, but I can get a quest started eventually that will allow you the opportunity to do such a thing. That will come eventually, but right now my main priority is to dispatch of all the necessary tasks that are required of us in order to gain access to my new weapon. And as you can see, this is working like a charm so far. Our tank is doing a really good job of pulling just enough enemies that it keeps the things going, but he's not getting overwhelmed, and neither is his healer. Yeah, the more the merrier if you so desire, and if it all works well, you'll be able to not only get a lot of money, but you'll also actually be able to make the journey go much faster too. So, it's very important that you keep an eye on where your tank is going, don't lose sight of him, and just try and stay with him as much as you possibly can. Because it's to your benefit and your team's if you can keep up with your tank in doing these high-level second-story dungeons. Because even though we have defeated the Guardian Empire, there is still a lot more story that has yet to be told in this game. In fact, the last patch, the last downloadable patch for Realm Reborn will go up in 3 weeks, as of the time this is recorded. So, yeah, it won't be much longer. It will be, as I mentioned before, the spring until when Heaven's Ward, the new version of Final Fantasy XIV, comes up. And so, we'll want to make sure we get all of this taken care of. So now, time for this new boss, the Demon Wall. Now, from what I've been told, when Amdapor Keep was first introduced, this was a much tougher fight. But I guess they figured it was so tough against the Demon Wall that the people of Square Enix decided to nerf this fight somewhat. And I do have to admit, it is quite easy, actually. The only real thing you need to worry about is the rappel. Other than that, you should be fine. So let's pound that rock as much as possible. Let's pound that demon wall. Alright, now keep on the offense. And as you can see, it's This has been a pretty short fight so far. We're not even going to get through one loop of the music before we've killed off the demon wall. Yeah, it was that easy. Yeah, they made it too easy, this fight. So we'll go ahead and play for those. And move on to the next section. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. In fact, this is becoming more common as players are getting more and more stronger weapons and armor, that it is not becoming all that uncommon to clear the first 2/3 of a dungeon within the first 10 minutes. If you have the right tank and you have the right strategy, this is becoming more and more common. Alright, into part 3. Let's see how much of a pull our tank can handle this time around. He's definitely proven himself to be very efficient, very well skilled, and the healer is doing a great job as well. I was going to say proficient, but I couldn't think of the word. It was like on the tip of my tongue, proficient, and I couldn't get it out. Not going to step into the AoE, playing it safe. But it looks like we're going to come to a rest here. So now we want to get on offense, cause as much damage as possible. Trying to avoid as much AoE as possible. It may not always be something that we can do, but we're going to try and do it as best we can. Okay, almost gone. Is this one? Right, that enemy is gone. The Dullahan is gone. And we're still going strong. Hey, come. Oh, Superbus is over this side. There we go. Almost gotcha. There, you're down. And now just one of you left. Let's do this. And down you go. Moving on to the next section. Alright, got more enemies in our sights. Let's have our tank do his thing. How far is he gonna go? Alright, he's decided to stop here. And if he's decided to stop here, we will give him as much support as we possibly can. Whoa. Almost have my 1 foot step into the AoE there. But we got this. So far, so good for us. We haven't had really any issues yet. We haven't had a fail on the part of the healer or the tank for that matter. And just finish off the collector. Right, that looks to be it. One last line of defense. And then we'll be into the final boss room. Yeah, it hasn't taken us that long at all to get to this point. You've really done a really impressive job here. Alright, last boss, or last enemy. Yeah, we're not the last boss yet. Soon, but not yet. Just one more Dullahan to dispose of. And then we can advance. And down it goes. Alright, on to the boss duel. And there's our opponent, looking up from high, but now he's going to come down and pay us a visit. And hopefully I don't get left out. So, this is Amdapor. That's quite the tongue twister of a name, but we're going to take it on. Pretty straightforward here, just, if you're the tank, just lure him into a corner, and pretty much everything else is straightforward. If you're attacking from behind, if you're in DPS, you have to worry about tail drive, but that's pretty much the only thing you have to worry about. You used to also have to worry about what was considered its ultimate, known as Imminent Catastrophe, but it really doesn't damage you all that much. The only thing it really does is bring out the presence of an extra enemy to defeat that, but that's pretty much it. You really don't have to worry about it any much more than that. So we should see its presence any moment. Okay, yeah, it's appeared on the health bar. Okay, there it is, a Dark Helot. But you'll have no problem dispatching of it, as you've just seen. Yeah, once it shows up, just get rid of it, and you can move on. Yeah, unlike a lot of other final boss duels we've had, this one will, by comparison to a lot of others that we'll be seeing, is really a cakewalk. You really don't have to worry about being in danger for this one. So let's go ahead and use the limit break to try and finish it off right now. Okay, well we didn't pull it off here, but we got it right to the brink. And in just over 15 minutes, victory is ours. Anantaboga is defeated, and Amdapor Keep is completed. And so, yep, and thanks to EDSS's presence, we got an extra 30 elegant tombstones, which is quite awesome. So let's go ahead and bring it to a close here at Amdapor Keep. So now that we have obtained the necessary item from this place, you will not get the Amdapor glyph that we required to get out of Amdapor Keep every time you come here. The only time you'll need to get your hands on it is when you make your way here to Amdapor Keep for the purposes of doing any Relic Reborn challenge that you're doing, no matter which one it is. All the Relic Reborn challenges will always take the exact same path as in terms of where you have to go and what you have to do. So we want to take the Amdapor glyph, as it mentioned, back to Mordona and give it to Rowena, who started us on our journey in terms of getting our new weapon. And as always, it takes an eternity for Mordona to load. But it is just, the sun is just risen. And I can tell that because this is the daytime music. Alright, let's put a little spring in my step, because, yeah, we're lagging a bit here. But yeah, it's a very busy time here in Mordona. Lots of guys and girls, lots of adventurers making their way through here for one reason or another. So, let's speak with Rowena again. Clear on the deal? Then run along and fulfill your part of it. And here's the Amdapor glyph for you. Ah, good lad. This is exactly what I was after. You've honored your part of the bargain, and so I'll do the same. And so now we have to deliver this book, the Book of Raynette, to Geralt. So, back to the North Shroud. Using an Aetheryte ticket to get there for free of charge. And so, returning to the North Shroud. And we'll give the necessary item to our boy Geralt. So yeah, back when Amdapor Keep was first introduced, as I mentioned before, people were telling me about how much harder the Demon Wall boss was, in the sense that you could get knocked off of the platform that you were fighting on. Yeah, that was actually something that could happen when you were fighting the Demon Wall, but I guess along the way they felt it was too hard, Square Enix did, and they were getting a lot of complaints about it, so they nerfed it so that you couldn't fall off. So, I really don't know what to make of that, since I never had that situation myself. Nonetheless, it's always good to accomplish what is necessary in order to get ourselves further along in terms of getting what we seek, and that is the Relic Reborn that we need, the Gable Glance. And so we'll run along Button's Kitakar to get our way back before he turns away, or she turns away, whoever that was supposed to be. And returning to Ristville. And we'll make our way back to Mr. Geralt to give him what we have obtained. Yeah, if you think all it takes is just the Book of Reinet, well, I got news for you. It's gonna take more than that. Back to pester me so soon. Judging from that smirk on your face, I take it you found what you need. Yeah, I did. Book of Saint Reinet. Here you go. Aye, this text is about Saint Reinet, alright. But gods, would it have killed the bugger that wrote it to use normal bloody words? Yeah, something tells me Geralt flunked out of school. It'll take me bleeding moons to get through this lot. Time I could be spinning on kettles. Yeah. While I try to make head or tail of it all, why don't you take here this finished on Gayborg and try it out? As I mentioned before, it's still missing somewhat, but it's all there shape-wise, meaning it should serve you just fine as an ordinary weapon. Seeing as you're a ripe old dragoon, maybe you'll be able to feel out exactly what it wants for. That's to say, get out there and fight some nasty foes, as Saint Reinet herself must have done back in the day. Natalin, the XIV stronghold over on Kelthis, auto serves your needs. Aye, the same place have found the lance. Pick yourself against some Natalin Baldwings, Forecallers, and Swiftbeaks, 8 of each. Say, then come back and tell me what you've gleaned. With the information in the text and your first-hand experience, I reckon we'll solve this puzzle yet. And so yeah, we now have to change weapons, as it were. Now, with an unfinished Gayborg, we now have to equip this thing. And as you can see, its physical damage is 37, as compared to 38 on the Trident, plus, stat-wise, it's much weaker. But of course, this is something that we're just still developing. So, over to Kerthus. And we'll start pounding the crap out of a whole bunch of Baldwings, Fogcallers, and Swiftbeaks. Yeah, they expect you to really put this thing to use. And so it's something that you better do. Alright. So yeah, show off what this thing looks like. Yeah, it's black now, but once we're finished with it, it'll actually turn purple. So let's go ahead and get my gear mended before we forge onward. And now we got that out of the way, onward we go. So Natalin is to the east of Camp Dragonhead, which is in the heart of Kerthus. And so the direction we'll be going is going to be right over here. This is the XIV stronghold known as Natalin, and it covers quite a bit of real estate. So yeah, there is some Ixal right there. Specifically, Natalin Swiftbeaks and Fogcallers to get us started. So let's start beating them up. So as I mentioned, we need to kill 8 of these things. I won't show off me killing off all eight of them, but I will at least show what they'll do. And it looks like this Wind Talon is more interested in just having a conversation than getting into a fight, which I will gladly accept. Alright, that one's dead. Yeah, anytime you can avoid an unnecessary battle, by all means, take advantage of it. Alright, so there's the Boldwing. We've seen a Boldwing, a Fogcaller, and a Swiftbeak. So once I kill off this one, I'll go ahead and continue killing enemies. As many as it takes, of course, 8 of each, in order to complete the task. So now that I've shown off the Boldwing, the Fogcaller, and the Swiftbeak, I'll take a quick time out, and then I will return to you. We'll have killed all 8 of what we require, and then I will rejoin you in the North Shroud and give the good news to Geralt. So be back in a moment. Okay, made it back to Geralt after completing the necessary number of enemies, so let's go ahead and speak with him. Back already? By the frown you're wearing, I take it you've got nothing to show for your time with the Birdman. Might be as you want for better sport, and I know just the creature will give it to you. The Hydra, what reigns over the fiends within Halatali. A nasty piece of work that. Try not to piss your britches when you see it. And this can be found in the Duty Finder by going back to Halatali. So, now we must go to Halatali itself by traveling back to Eastern Thanalan. And so, away we go. And it's been quite some time since we've been to a place like Halatali. But it's actually a place we'll be going to again a couple more times during our journey here in Year 2 of A Realm Reborn. So let's make our way out of Camp Drybone, where a lot of experiences took place here, including the events that led up to our encounter with the Ifrit. And so we are heading southwest. Back to Halatali, and back to the dungeon within. But for this case, for this instance, we won't necessarily have to actually go into the dungeon itself like we did back earlier in the game. All we have to do is just come over here and return to this place. And use the destination action to now access the Hydra challenge. So, since we're... Well, you know what? Why don't we take the time to actually do this one? I mean, I have enough time to do this, so let's go ahead and set it up. So, we'll want to clear off Amdapor Keep off our list, and go down to Trials to get a duel with the Hydra. So, be back in a moment when our battle with the Hydra gets underway. Alright, we've now earned our spot inside Halatali, where we will duel with the Hydra. And compared to the Chimera fight, this one should be a lot easier. If it's not, I will be very shocked and incredibly frustrated. So it looks like I might not be the only one going through this for the first time with this my own character. Looks like we may have 2 others going through the same thing. Let's just hope our tanks can be strong and help get us the victory here. Alright, here we go. Against the Chimera. No, against the Hydra, sorry. You better back it up there. It's tank number 2. Well, I guess you'll be tank number 2 just because you have A, less HP than the other tank, and on top of that, well, you're behind and you're not facing the enemy itself. You're not facing his face, as it were. So far, we're doing quite well. I'd say we're getting decent damage here. But as we go along, we will see the addition of additional enemies. And it's only a matter of time as to when that will happen. Okay, apparently we cannot stun that. Okay, yeah, there is the enemy we were talking about. Oh, I've been heavy. Oh, I got heavy on me. Oh, that's not good. But yeah, we want to get the Wyvern. Oh, this is gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt. Oh, I dodged it. Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness for that. Oh, but our main tank appears to be in a bit of trouble here. I got heavy again. Oh, boy. And this is what happens when you're taking on this guy. There's just so much crap going on. I'm not gonna survive this. Oh, I don't know how the heck I got away with that, quite honestly. I really don't know how I survived. Well, someone didn't, unfortunately. I mean, to be quite honest, I'm surprised we're struggling this much, but it is 3 people at least who are going through for the first time with their particular avatars, as far as I can tell. And when one wyvern goes away, another takes its place. Yeah, that's not good. Watch out for the ice. Yeah, I'm shocked with not going after the wyvern. Yeah, so I'll have to help take care of that. Oh, gotta get underneath the Hydra. Gotta get underneath the Hydra. Should be fine, should be fine. We're safe. Chasing the wyvern now. Should have it dead soon. And it's gone. Alright, good. Now focus goes back to the Hydra, who continues to litter the field with rings of fire and ice. Oh, and here comes Hydra number 3. Or Wyvern number 3, I should say. Yeah, I keep getting the names mixed up because this is pretty chaotic. Okay, it didn't do the move I was expecting. Which means we can continue attacking the wyvern. And yeah, if I see him move back to the edge of the field of battle, I'll know what to do. Yeah, but it looks like I picked up the aggro here on this, on the wyvern. But we got rid of it. Alright, that's 3 wyverns dead. And if it turns over just enough, then on this turn, after Fear itself, I can go Limit Break. Alright, Limit Break. Ah, didn't get the damage I was looking for. Whoa, he actually got me with Mean Thrash that time. Nuts. Okay, there's another wyvern on the field, but we're going to ignore it because we're so close to winning. Yeah, normally I would go after it, but not this time. Oh, man. Yeah, he's definitely got us going all over the place. But, nonetheless, we got our victory. And not a moment too soon, because 3 people got killed at the same time. But the Hydra is slain. There we go. Yeah, got it just in the nick of time. And saved ourselves a whole bunch of potential disaster as a result. So, with that, let us get out of here. And move on to continue our pursuit of getting our relic. And so, with the we've slain the Chimera, we've cleared Amdapor Keep, we've slayed a whole bunch of Ixal, we've defeated the Hydra, and so now that those things are completed, we now have to move on to the next objective on our list. So, obviously, going back to Geralt will be something we have to do right now. So, teleport free of charge, thanks to my special Aetheryte for being a longtime player of this game. That was a good idea for you to introduce that there, Square Enix. I really appreciate that. I definitely appreciate your good gesture. Truly a gesture of goodwill on your part. Okay, so now back to you-know-where. Gonna make it back to our good friend Geralt, and he's gonna hopefully set us up now with what we need, and it'll give us what we require. Level 37 fate going on over there, but we have better things to deal with than dealing with a tree. Yeah, if we're gonna have people dealing with trees, we'll let it be the lumberjacks. As for us, that's not our thing. We're just gonna make our way back to Grist Mill and get what we require. Mithril Crescent, huh? Well, on the bright side, you're not Rome Mithril. And to that, I can truly say that I am appreciative. Yeah, no Rome Mithrils allowed in A Realm Reborn, thank you. Alright, back into Grist Mill. As night has fallen here on the Realm Reborn. And we'll look to give our man Geralt what he required of us. Hey there, big man, we have returned. You're still alive? Why the hells do you adventures have to be so goddamn sturdy? I was bloody sure you'd be Hydra done by now. But what's done is done, or in this case, not done. Any road, let's talk about that text you brought. It contains an account of Saint Raynet's painfully pious life. Seems to be part of Ishgard's holy scriptures. Be true to the Fury, live in virtuous penury, dedicate your life to the blah bloody blah. The book fair put me to sleep and not even 11 flagons of mead can do that. 11? Yeah, that's not even a word. Yeah, who do you think you are? Keanu Reeves on Saturday Night Live Celebrity Jeopardy? Any road, one bit touched on old Saint Raynet's time as a dragoon. That's where I found a passage describing the relic spear Gaebolg. Turns out the base of the spearhead, that's the bit what looks like wings, ain't just for show. Apparently it helps dragoons get their arc just right for when they're leaping on their prey. As you can see, I've done my research. I trust you've also been pulling your weight, putting the relic to use like I said. Well, go on then, tell me what you've learned. And as we say what needs to be said. Is that so? I wondered about that. Based on what we've gleaned from the text, and your first-hand experience, I'll rework the relic so as to improve your affinity with it. Hand it over for a second, will you? Yeah, so now we have to turn our weapon back over and put the trident back on. So, turning over the unfinished Gaebolg. And away he goes, pounding on it again. There, the deed's done. That leaves us with one last step. That is, fully merging the old relic, the new host, and the soul of the bearer. Aye, that's you. Only then can the weapon be restored to its former glory. But to do this, I need a fire what's hotter than the seventh hell. And to keep such a fire alive raging, I need a wind what's fiercer than the hangover I had last week. Ah, you know what I mean. Just to give me a white-hot ember, a howling gale, and a chunk of hypo-fused ore, and I'll finish your bloody weapon. Ah, and I need a bottle of Rads at hand quenching oil as well to cool it off. So, in order to progress further in the quest, we must complete the objectives of the Bowl of Embers hard, and noting that we must make sufficient progress in the main scenario in order to do this. So, knowing that we have to take care of that, we now have to make our way back to Horizon, because that is where we're going to be able to start getting information on where we have to go next to get our relic. But, as it was said, we have to get far enough in the main scenario in order to accomplish this. Which tells me that we may just very well have to speak with Lady Minfilia after all, and get our journey started into the main story of Year 2. So with that, I'd like to thank everyone for watching the continuation of Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn. And when I join you again, we will begin pursuing the start of the main story of Year 2, and also getting new information on how we can get to the Bowl of Embers hard as to continue the pursuit of the Relic Reborn. So until next time everyone, this is Matthew at Navora Autism, saying take care, and I'll see you soon.